Hello everyone and welcome back to more Banjo-Kazooie. Finally, am I right? And in this episode, we're going to be going through my favorite world in the game, which is Gobi's Valley. Like, out of all of the 10 worlds inside of Banjo-Kazooie, Gobi's Valley is one that stands out to me the most, and I'm going to be doing my best to explain why as we journey through this world. However, I do kind of want to make a quick little apology to how this delay has been throughout this series. And what I mean by that is I managed to upload a whole bunch of Banjo-Kazooie episodes, and then for at least 3 weeks, it's kind of been dead. I have my reasons. The reason why, and the main point of it, is while I am making the Banjo-Kazooie series, at the same time, I'm on my final year of university, and I'm trying to produce a final year project. And during that time, I had to produce this presentation and then piece all of it together as well as a prototype, so I just had to dedicate most of my time in order to put the presentation together and make sure it was all nice and dandy here and there, you know. But that's the main reason why also, really. I would like to play more Banjo-Kazooie, you know, I do like to do it, but at the end of the day, education is more important. It's going to get me somewhere in life, and, you know, YouTube is a fun hobby of mine. That's the way I've always seen it, and that's the way I shall continue to see it for pretty much most of my time on YouTube. But back to Gobi's Valley. The one thing I absolutely love about this level is, oh my god, its design is incredible. And I'm not talking aesthetically. I mean like how everything is laid out through all of the feathers that you pick up and using certain parts of the level in order to get to certain jiggies. Because it's designed in such a way where every time you go to it, you can get faster and faster, but more ways that you can find. And just everything I find is so accessible. There is rarely any backtracking that you have to do, or going back to areas, or any puzzle mechanics thrown in. I suppose there's one little puzzle thrown in, but it's not really one that I find annoying in places. For instance, the Turtle Choir minigame in Bubble Gloop Swamp, that got a bit annoying from time to time, but I don't know, just Gobi's Valley, it just has an amazing design. I'm going to be cherishing it a lot throughout this episode because I do love it to bits. I will only talk about certain things though when they do happen, because honestly talking about them on screen is a little bit of too much work really. Which I can talk about right now actually. So even though I did go through those rings, I could just right now get off of flying off of Kazooie and then go inside the temple. But instead what I like to do is collect the Jiggy, cancel out the animation and fly all the way over down there. And the reason why is because we're going to activate this part of the level where I'm going to have to actually backtrack to the beginning. And yes, even though I did say that doesn't involve a lot of backtracking, it's more or less a level that you can kind of study and just understand how everything works. Similar to the way that, if you remember when I went through Freezeezy Peak, I basically said that while you're doing the buggy race, it will lead you to the exact area so you can time that along with getting certain jiggies without having to backtrack to certain areas here and there, you know? It's the same thing with Gobi's Valley, because even though we did activate, yeah, apparently we activated the camel. No, we rescued the camel known as Gobi. I am also able to activate this switch right here, and it'll basically spawn this honeycomb piece, which is convenient enough. But a thing that I do also like in this level is down the bottom, at the very bottom of this sand pit, there'll be this little feather thing. That is cleverly placed. It means I don't always have to keep going to the very top of the Sphinx and then get the feather that way. I can easily just jump down and use the feathers at the bottom, so then I can just easily get around areas and make things a lot more convenient for myself, and that I just absolutely adore. As well as the soundtrack. Aesthetically, it's actually not my favorite level in that regard when it comes to graphics and whatnot. In fact, my personal favorite is the next one after this. Man, that is a good place when it comes to aesthetics and everything. I love me that type of feel. I don't really want to talk about it too much though because, spoilers, it's the next world. There's really no point talking about it really. Also, I have studied this level so much and I love it too much that I actually managed to finish this whole entire level 100% in less than 20 minutes. So I just thought, well, you know what, instead of making this a two-parter or so, similar to how Freezeezy Peak and Bubble Gloop Swamp were, I just felt like making it one huge episode of showing off Gobi's Valley. And I think that'll do it justice, if you ask me. Also, this guy right here has a very funny voice. This is often told upon by a lot of people who play Banjo-Kazooie. They always mention this guy right here. But still, I don't know why. It's just amusing with some of, like, the dialogue and that. Maybe given the fact that it's an actual, real voice for that side of things, but I don't know. People are weird, and I'm weird, so what can I say? But we got 3 Jiggies so far in the span of 5 minutes, so that's good going at the minute. But that's the main thing that I do like about the feather thing being placed at the bottom of the sand pit, because later on, that will not become available. And you understand why when we get through later on through the level and stuff, but the main reason why I activated this camel is so that then I can go back to here and then get the water from him, put it inside the tree. You see, I could have gone in the Sphinx and then done the camel later, but I felt like it was going to be a lot more quicker and more, you know, just save me backtracking, going off to the camel by flying towards him, and then freeing him first, only to then come back to here and then just tie it all in. Like I say, just this level, it kind of reminds me in that regard of how I feel towards Majora's Mask, because I really like how in Majora's Mask, you can time things. The first time you beat the game to 100%, pretty much most of the things are at the back of your mind, and so even though there is a 3-day cycle, you can remember that and tie things in so you can get so much done in 1 day, or 2 days, or 3 days even. It's the same feeling with Banjo-Kazooie, because I'm looking around Gobi's Valley, and because I have remembered where each and every individual thing is, that is when I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that next, and this, and this. In fact, that's how I feel through pretty much the most of the worlds through Banjo-Kazooie. That's the kind of the bizarre feeling, I suppose, when it came to coming back to recording Banjo-Kazooie. Even though I haven't touched it for a while because university work, it's been really shocking how much I do actually remember. I mean, literally, I played through Gobi's Valley and the next world after that, and somehow I just seemed to know where everything is and get some of the best times that I've had in the game. I'm not really saying they're world record pace or anything, but, you know. I mean, they're just the fastest that I've got through all my time I've played through Banjo-Kazooie. I believe the fastest time I've cleared this game, and this isn't just terms of a casual run. I wasn't even trying to beat the record that I had or anything. I was just literally playing through the game casually, and it was around 7 hours. Which, yeah, I know, to speedrunners that's a really bad time, but to me, on a personal level, that's pretty ideal. Also, this puzzle minigame right here. This is what I'm on about. There is like one puzzle element in this area, but it's just this simple matching game that you have to do, so it's really not that bad. I much prefer this instead of doing memory games, because those are just my weakness. Some people might like them, but I am not a big fan of them if you ask me. I believe, though, when you get to this area, it's the exact same, because I've played this level so many times, like, for practicing for this LP and whatnot, and I believe every tile that you see is mapped in the same permission? No, every tile you see is mapped in the same position, so when you come back to the game, you can actually have all of these pictures memorized and do it in one shot. That is possible, but I'm not that type of person because I have terrible memory. My memory seems to be more maps towards the level's design instead of a simple memory matching minigame, you know? But still. I also like how this Jinjo is placed right here on this pyramid, because even though I can just run around the bottom or on the floor, I can just run around the pyramid itself to make it even quicker. And now I can go back to the Sphinx. Most people tend to do the Sphinx at the very beginning. I don't know, I just found that over time, it's easier to do the Sphinx as like one of the last things, because this is one where it cancels out your move for doing the flying ability here and there and whatnot. Also, I'm actually supposed to go over to the second pillar and shoot the thing inside his nose in order to open the door, but of course you can literally just shoot him from the same pillar. I don't know really if Rareware intended you to do that, but whatever, I mean, it gets it done a lot quicker and that's fine by me. Also, I love how the soundtrack changes when you get to the inside areas of this pyramid. It just sounds so good. I know it's basically, yes, the same song, Gobi's Valley, but I don't know, just the way it alternates is just brilliant. It makes me feel like I'm exploring around some kind of cave or pyramid, which we are really, so what did I expect, you know? Still. don't know, I thought I'd give you some time to like appreciate some of the sound effects that have been thrown into this game. This is a thing that's kind of not present actually in the Xbox 360 version. I noticed that as well with the second world that we went to. No, we're going to be going to, shall I say. Because compared to the N64 version, there were some differences here and there. I mean, you saw that in episode 1, right? Because I explained that while Gruntilda is giving Tooty a good thrashing, shall we say, the sound effects were present on the N64, but on the Xbox, there was just nothing at all. Again, I don't know why. Maybe I need to contact Rareware, like the people behind the making of Banjo-Kazooie, and just ask them, hey, how come the sound effects aren't present in the Rare release? I was going to say the Rareware release, but honestly, the Rareware release is pretty much when it came out on the N64, because when they moved over to Microsoft, that's when they were known as Rare, you know? I do find it kind of nice, though, how nowadays, if you have an Xbox One, there's this thing called Rare Replay, alright? And you can get all, if not pretty much most of the games made by Rareware back in the day and just have them accessible on your Xbox One for an affordable price, which is very convenient because, oh my, some of the games made by Rareware are just very rare, no pun intended, to get for the original N64 system. Like, one I am on the hunt for to this day, and I mean this by trying to find a cheap price for this damn thing, is Conker's Bad Fur Day for the N64. It's on Rare Replay though, so you can easily just pick that up and have the full game, and that's rather dandy, but still. Now, if there's one thing to critique about Gobi Valley's design, it's that bit right there. You just saw it happen, right? The bee attacked me while I was trying to get on the boots. Why is the bee placed there? That's really inconvenient because when I put the boots on, it does this animation for at least 3 seconds. And within that time, I'm likely to get hit by the bee. So I don't know, that just annoys me a bit here and there. I mean, even though I do like Gobi's Valley, it's not perfect, you know. There will be some parts where I'm like, yeah, that's kind of annoying. But nothing's perfect in life, you know. I sadly don't have an Xbox One myself, so even though I am talking good about Rare Replay, I haven't actually played it myself, so I can't really say it for sure, but I do remember that when it came out, a lot of people were like, wow, this is great, because we can access all the games made by Rareware, and that's rather nice and convenient for us, but I've never played it myself, so I don't really have a proper input on what I feel about it. I mean, for instance, this is just a personal opinion of mine, by the way, you don't have to feel the same way, but I remember watching back around 2011, I think it was, a lot of people who played the new game back then, known as Sonic Generations for the PS3 and 360 and whatnot. And I thought, wow, this looks really cool, there's nothing wrong with the game and stuff, because loads of people are having a good time. Around last year or 2 years ago, eventually when I bought a PS3 myself, yeah, I'm a bit late to the party. When I bought it, I tried it out for myself, and I do find that this might just be me. I find that classic Sonic's physics are he's really heavy, like in the PS3 version, or even like 360 version at that. Because every time he jumps, I feel like I don't get the same exact momentum that I feel from the Mega Drive / Genesis days, so that's rather annoying. Also, I screwed up this bit right here. Well, that's just great. Let me speed this up so you don't have to see it. I felt it wasn't really necessary to just show me running up the fin again, as it cuts down time and makes the episode a little bit, tiny bit shorter, but still. But yeah, back to the Sonic Generations thing that I was talking about. I don't know, just when I play as classic Sonic on this game, the way he moves, it just doesn't feel right. I mean, in the Mega Drive days, when you jumped on a standstill, and then you moved to the right or the left, Sonic would still gain momentum and continue going, but I don't know, he just... Well, Sonic Generations, he jumps, and I push right, but he just doesn't go far enough half the time, so I often find it a bit of a pain when trying to navigate through a bunch of spikes. I mean, the physics are better than Sonic Forces. Oh my god, how the hell did they screw that up? The damn physics they gave classic Sonic and Sonic Forces just makes no sense to me. And I don't understand how that game's been like a 4-year project or something ridiculous like that anyway. And it turned out like that. I don't know, maybe just Sega turned it into an experimentational game or something, I don't know. But yeah, that's just, it's my little side rant for Sonic Generations when it comes to classic Sonic. In fact, it's been a long time since I played Generations. The very first time I played Generations, like in proper, back in 2012, because back then I didn't have a Xbox 360 or a PS3 or a powerful PC to run the Steam version. So my only option to play Sonic Generations, being a die-hard Sonic fan, was the 3DS. So I had to make do with the 3DS version, and, you know, the 3DS version isn't bad. It's pretty much just, it's got classic Sonic on it, so that's pretty close to the Genesis days as much as it is, but the modern days stages are similar to the Sonic Rush feel, and that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing, because back then, in around 2004 or 5, I think it was, when I got the DS, I played a lot of Sonic Rush. Like, that was pretty much one of my favorite DS games when I grew up as a kid. I liked the music, the fast-paced action of it and whatnot. I liked it so much that I picked up Sonic Rush Adventure in 2007, and I liked it as a kid. Nowadays, I kind of have mixed responses for Sonic Rush Adventure, but then again, it's actually been a long time since I've played that game. You see, this is the thing I have with games sometimes. Like, I will just play a game from a long time ago, and I'll be like, you know, I can't remember if that game was good or not, or what I feel of it, so I will just revisit it at some point and see what my opinions of it are nowadays. I mean, you never know, guys. To this day, like, Majora's Mask is my favorite game of all time, but in like a couple of years' time, I might find this one game later in the future where I'm like, that's it. Majora's Mask has much more flaws now compared to how I used to see it, and now that game is the better one. I mean, you can never tell the future, right? Still. Also, we're at 89 notes and nearly at the end of Gobi's Valley. Seriously, it's really insane to find how fast this stage goes by. Like, when you do memorize everything, it really gets faster. And after this run, I even found faster ways to do it. So, in the future, I might even get this level done in like less than 15 minutes. You never know, really, but still. This is King Sandybutt's tomb. Turn back or face his wrath. I kinda overreacted on this when it came to the collab project. If you remember, me and Harry did a collab project where Harry played through Banjo-Kazooie for the very first time and I was guiding him. I kinda overreacted a bit in this level, or at least part of this stage. Because inside this place, yes, there is a timer, but they give you so much time, there's really no need to worry. I mean, look, I even activated the Gruntilda switch in that amount of time and I have 30 seconds left. And that's it. I'm pretty much practically already out, so really there was nothing to worry about. I think it's just the music that builds the suspense, because of Grant Kirkhope's genius, you know? But still. Also, look at this. 100 notes collected. One of the Jiggies collected. And I've also collected all the Honeycomb Pieces so far. And after this Jiggy, how many have I got? 9. Where's the last one? In this tomb. I love that. So basically you can just treat King Sandybutt's tomb as pretty much your last resort to Gobi's Valley, and then that's it. That's everything done in one shot to Gobi's Valley, unless you played FreeZZ Peak first, or one of the other two, because you can actually do Gobi's Valley first, instead of doing FreeZZ Peak, but you need to go to FreeZZ Peak in order to gain the flying ability, in order to beat the get level to 100%, and if you're going to do FreeZZ Peak first, you need to go to Gobi's Valley in order to get the boosting one, so that then you can beat Boggy. So, you know, either way, it's just the same outcome at the end of the day. But either way, this is the end of Banjo-Kazooie for this episode, and before I do that, I'm going to let's see what time I got. 19 minutes! I beat this in under 20 minutes. That is surreal, I don't mean to brag. But yes, this is the end of Banjo-Kazooie, and I will see you in the next one, where we go on to the next world. See you then.